I'm gonna go full bore into it. My wife has not killed me yet with all the homebrew and meat equipment that I have, but my house is basically a lab. I have a garage, my office, a whole bedroom, which we call the mead room, and literally it has nothing but mead in it.
Oh, fun.
And I'm about to tear up another room and make that out of my second mead room just so I can drink mead.
Carvin, just get with the program and just build yourself a second house next to the first house and make that the mead lab,
Mead house.
Yeah.
It's funny that you're joking about that, but my daughter lives in like one of our rental properties, and it has a sub-basement on it. So I'm really thinking about locating all my barrels over there so I can start a barrel program.
There you go.
So that's basically how I got into mead.
Okay. So what was the first mead you had that wasn't your mead?
Oh.
Going back into the annals of Carvin here.
I don't know. I think it was some mead that somebody brought up. You know what? It was a homebrewed mead.
Okay.
And it really opened my eyes of how good mead could be. And and from that point on, if you haven't figured this out, I'm extremely type A.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want that guy to make better mead than me. So next party we come to, I'm gonna beat his ass and I'm gonna have a better mead than he has. So I had to start just researching, and that led me to better techniques. Of course, Ken Sram comes into play.
Yeah.
Reading his books. Ken and Peter and these guys like that, your group, these guys are legends. I had the opportunity to meet Ken a few months ago, and let me tell you something. That guy is first class. They don't make too many like that. People like Sergio. I'm gonna say for the record, a lot of people give Sergio a bad rap. But that guy is probably one of the nicest people you ever want to meet on the planet.
Oh, yeah. He's not afraid to speak out. But, yeah, he's a great
I was
guy.
just about to say that. He has a no bullshit filter.
He's a Jersey boy.
He's not and that's what I love about him.
Yeah.
Him and Bob and John talking to him, and all those guys are great. But a lot of my first meets were homebrew meads, but they were very, very, very good, and they were better than mine. And that makes you want to be a better mead maker. And that's part of that obsession thing. You just want to be. When you've had something that's better than yours, it lights your fire. And that's one of the reasons I enjoyed going to the major this year. If that doesn't inspire you to make better mead, you should just quit. You should just go back and close your meadery and just sell your shit.
Yep. Because
there are some outstanding mead makers there. I tasted some meads that were just unbelievable. Just unbelievable meads. People bring their A games there. And you know what I felt great about? They brought them up to the suite. We were tasting like meads that people would just pay a lot of money for, and we just all had them right there just to drink and just be inspired and marvel at all these great mead makers bringing us mead up there to drink, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, there was some amazing mead there. I got the opportunity to have some of it. A lot of it had just gone poof by the time. Next year, I'm just gonna be standing outside your door, and when you unlock it, I'm just gonna step in. Because damn it, I miss Bobby Slance's stuff, and Bob's like, "Where were you?" And I'm like, "Working." Had a job, man.
Bob is an amazing meat maker, and I'm very proud to call Bob and John Talkington two of my really good friends, and being around people like that, it makes you a better meat maker, because you know what, you can't take crap to those guys because they're gonna call crap on you. It's nice being surrounded by people who just won't taste your meat and be like, oh yeah, this is good. Not those guys. They're just going to say, okay, this is not good. you know, what you do here. What's your fermentation temperature? And once they start going down that road, it's going to be like, you're getting schooled by the principles here. So it makes you want to be a better meat maker, knowing that you're going to present your meat to people of that caliber.
Yeah,
at least it does for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It really pushes you to. It pushes you to do better. I mean, I've been on the meat scene and watching this industry, both home and pro, since the 90s, and was very lucky to fall in early with people like Ken and that. So, I got to hang out with the heavy hitters, and what I've seen is that the quality, and I think this is a direct result of the competitive nature of mead makers to a certain extent, kind of like what you're saying. There's a lot of type A's in this world, in this industry, in this, type of thing. But it's the quality of mead that I have seen, because when the first competition was the International Mead Festival, which when I got in was in Colorado, and David Myers from Redstone, it was his gig, and he was running that, and they had a competition for home and pro, and then of course they had an open pour, like basically what we're doing now with the MCI. Just being run by David, but there was a lot of entries and more every year, just like we're seeing now. But what we saw was a lot of really bad mead, and there was some pretty awesome mead in there too. But the percentage of really bad stuff was much higher. And over the years, what we've seen is that now it's almost all pretty darn good, to the point where people that are getting like, a 46 or a 47 in home, or a 97 or a 98 in pro, are coming back and going, how come I didn't get a medal? It's like, because there were 18 people in a competition above you,
yeah,
that were better. So it's gotten that competitive, and it's gotten that there are so many that are that good. I mean, some of these are. I had some meads this year judging that were like over the moon. And I don't know if Rick's listening or not, but Rick Diaz's strawberry. Holy effing God. That was so good.
Yeah, I don't think Rick's ever going to forgive me for beating him in that category.
Yeah, boy. You just eked him out, too, just barely on that one. But it was because I was on the table for that one, but holy crap.
Yeah, it was a great mead. And, and Rick put out a great mead, and that strawberry, you actually gave me a taste of it, and it was an amazing mead. And
yeah.
Rick, there should have been co-number ones that year, because that meat was delicious. But Vicky,
really
in touching on your theme about mead and mead quality, I know one of the things that I do at my homebrew club, and and everybody knows that if they bring me a mead, I'm not going to lie to them. I don't have a bullshit filter. So if you bring it to me, I'm going to tell you the truth. I tell them if they don't want to hear the truth, don't bring it to me.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing our friends, and this goes for a commercial too. We're not doing our friends or our fellow meat makers any credit by sitting there and not giving them constructive feedback. Whether they want to hear it or not, they should hear from you whether you think that meat has an off flavor or whatever you may be, especially if you know something's wrong with the meat and you don't have the fortitude to tell that person that something's wrong with that meat, you're not doing that guy any favor, because he thinks that what he did with that batch is correct. Now, granted, opinions may vary, but I don't think it's anything wrong with telling someone that you perceive an off flavor in their mead. And I think at the end of the day that they're going to respect you for that more so than that token, oh, yeah, that's good. And I don't like that. I tend to surround myself with people who are going to give me honest, constructive feedback about my meat, whether they like it or not. And I think that's important.
Well,
I think that's why God gave. I think that's why God gave me my wife. I think that's why God gave me my wife, because
Robin's a no bullshit kind of gal, is she?
Yeah, she'll play some of my meads, and she's like, "You gonna serve that?"
Oh. Yeah, John will do that for me. He'll be like, "You're not gonna give this to anybody, right?"
Yeah,
it's like that bad, because it's great to have a spouse who's honest with you. That I think is one of the truer expressions of love, is somebody who's not afraid to tell you the truth.
You have to understand their biases, though. Like, mine's always saying, "Oh, that's bitter," when he means sour. It's not bitter; it's sour.
Yeah, well, that's not a bias so much as it's just a terminology thing, you know.
Well, he can't taste the difference. He can't pick out the difference between sour and bitter.
Oh, okay.
So
it's actually become pretty good, surprisingly, because he doesn't drink all that much mead. But
we need to surround ourselves with at least a couple people in our friends group to where you know that person's going to tell you the truth. And I'm proud to say that I got a lot of friends when I send them meads. You know, they tell me what they think, because that helps me to make better mead. They know my obsession for wanting to make better mead, and you know, I think that's really important.
Yeah. Well, and it's a hard skill to develop unless, you know, you're already, I mean, like for me, I'm not good at being that straightforward. It's a skill I've had to learn, and I still have to work at it, just because it's just not, I have inherited like utter conflict avoidance characteristics from my dad.
Yeah,
and so it's a hard thing to unlearn when you grew up with that. And so what I ask people when because I get so many people to go, "Here, taste this," and I'll ask them straight up, "Do you want the truth, or do you want the gosh, I'm your friend and I'm not going to say anything that you don't want to hear" answer? And you know, so I let them pick. And then that, to me, I mean, in my head, that kind of lets me off the hook. And mostly, especially in the mead community, they'll say, "Well, I want the truth." Now, if it's like when I'm at a SCA event, and AJ can back me up on this, some of the meads you get in the SCA are really awful. I mean, truly bad.
Actually, I can't back you up on that. I've only heard about them. I haven't tried them.
You haven't tried them? Oh, okay. Well,
I'm not actually Scadian.
Oh, that's right. That's true. You do still stuff, but yeah, you go into the SCA, and there's like, everybody makes mead because it's historical, and so I'll get people once they find out, you know,
so they make it historically bad.
Yeah, and well, a lot of the historical recipes make really crappy mead, and we've been around that mulberry bush. We're really going to have to get some people who make historical mead in a modern way in here and have that conversation. But it was, you know, they're like, "Well, what do you think of this?" And it's like, you know, I don't know what to say because they're, you know, they really think they've made something good, and I feel horrible busting their bubble because they think it's amazing. All their friends told them it was amazing because it got them shit-faced, you know.
Well, what I find, because I too am one of those conflict avoider types. But one of the things I learned how to do when I was sort of doing my beer exploration to figure out what I liked in a beer so I could make something I didn't hate, was, even though I didn't like something, of being able to pick out things that I did like. You know, this would be good. This part of it is good. If that part of it was better, I would enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that we need to do, you know, you need to practice your craft. And part of your craft is, and I like this part of the craft, is drinking mead.
Yes.
You know, instead of going get the same meaderies all the time, and you know, we know they make great mead. Go find a little small guy, support the industry. Just pick some random meads, a vino shipper, or if you admire somebody, ask them to send you a bottle or something like that. You know, I get so many bottles from people, or trade. You know, but seek out some mead, or seek out some meads that you see people making on the group that you might want a bottle of, and you know, taste that. You know, one of the things that ticks me off about social media is people let social media tell them what to drink, and I hate that drone mentality. No, this is a rated R show, so I can say this. You're a grown ass man.
Yeah, right.
Go out and find your own mead. And you don't need rate mead to tell you, or rate beer, or these other sites that